And the story began one day after work. That particular day, I felt like I had indigestion. Went to the emergency room, and after I wasn't seen, I got up to walk out, and she goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm leaving because I've been here since 3:30. I'm tired, I'm diabetic, I'm hungry, I haven't eaten." But that whole next day, that whole Friday, I was still feeling something different. So I called up a friend, and she came over and took me to the emergency room. They called in a cardiologist who came to me and said, "You're having a heart attack."
I never really envisioned that I was going to have a heart attack.
I was afraid of dying. I was afraid for my family.
There is no faith. Heart attacks do not discriminate.
If there's one thing I could tell my doctors, I want the full story. I wasn't fully aware of what all was going on and what I needed to do. I explained to him, I said, "So why can't it wait till Monday?" He said, "Your heart may not wait till Monday." I did not have any time, at least my idea of time, to process the problem, what was wrong with me, and why I needed to have surgery immediately.
I never really envisioned that I was going to have a heart attack.
I was afraid of dying. I was afraid for my family.
There is no faith. Heart attacks do not discriminate.
If there's one thing I could tell my doctors, I want the full story.
It was a regular morning. It was a Friday morning as I was getting ready to start my day. I immediately would say 15 minutes into my morning, I felt the wind knocked out of me, almost like I had been racing or running. I called my aunt, who took me to the emergency room, and my husband later met me there after dropping the kids off. About 3 EKGs later, some blood work, they confirmed that I was having a heart attack. Me and my husband just looked at each other in complete shock. The emergency room doctor was even in shock. At that point, I looked at my husband and I probably told him the worst thing I've ever had to say to him in my life, which was, if anything happened, take care of our boys.
I was talking to a friend walking up a hill in a local park I often go to, Dolores Park. I started feeling chest pain and nauseous and really tired. I talked to my wife. She thought maybe I hadn't eaten enough that morning, but I did talk to the nurse on call at my health system, and they recommended coming in, and I did. I went to the ER, and they discovered that I'd had a mild heart attack.
I spent over 2 weeks in the hospital. I didn't know when my discharge date would be. Then I met with the doctor, and she told me, she said, "Carolyn, I think that you're ready." They didn't give me, numbers and all that to call if I started having any, problems with breathing, my heart. I felt very unprepared with my post-operative care.
When we first got home, the days after and the weeks after, I was not working. And honestly, for the first several months, I was in complete denial of what had happened. So my wife took on a tremendous burden to take care of me and to keep me resting and stress-free and make sure I had what I needed.
I was in the hospital for 2 days, and that was just preparation for what my new life was going to look like. They give you written instructions at your discharge, and they go over the paperwork with you. So a lot of it was just very basic around the medication, the times I had to take it, if I were to miss a medication. So more of that, kind of just management care of that.
I was in the hospital for several days, and they sent me home with a lot of confidence that everything would be fine. I did find myself pretty terrified coming out of the hospital. My anxiety around having another heart attack kicked in soon after I left. I wish there had been greater preparation for me, anticipation that my mental health challenges of the past might surface again in this moment of stress in leaving the hospital.
If I could say anything about hospitals and needs, they have someone to check on the patient, but just to be there for the family and what their needs are too, because it's all very confusing.
There's one thing I could tell my doctors: I want the full story. I want to know what happened to me. Why did I have a heart attack?